days.
Here are the top stories of the news. The People's Democratic Party has slated the 4th of February 2023 for a fresh Abia State governorship primary. The Lagos State Police Command has debunked reports of a new commissioner of police. On the foreign scene, the city of Memphis releases video of violent encounter between Tyree Nichols and 5 police officers. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Tunde Ido. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has slated February the 4th, 2023 for a fresh governorship primary for Abia State. The PDP Vice Chairman and Acting Publicity Secretary, Elder Abraham Amar, made this known in a statement. He noted that the decision is imperative upon the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) directive based on the new Electoral Act on replacement of candidates arising from death of the PDP candidate, Professor Uche Ikone. Mr. Abraham called on all interested aspirants to collect expression of interest and nomination forms from the PDP headquarters in Abuja. Staying with PDP, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde says his administration's achievements are being leveraged by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, to clinch the state in next month's election. Mr. Makinde disclosed this in a news charge while responding to criticism from the former Minister of Power and Steel, Wole Oyelese, taking a swipe at the governor for what he described as an act of treachery for abstaining from electioneering for Atiku. Oyelese argued that Makinde needs Atiku to win, but the Oyo governor fired back at his kinsman, stating that for the PDP candidate to win the state, he will have to campaign for him because the PDP in the state is riding on the achievement of his government in the last 3 years. The Oyo governor said beyond personal ambitions, the demands of the G5 or integrity group, the 5 group PDP governors, was about protecting national interest.
The party, I must give kudos to the governors on the platform of APC. I mean, governors like Governor Nasir El-Rufai, Governor Jigawa, Mai Malabuni, Governor Kogi. They came together within their party and they said, look, for the unity of this country, let us sacrifice our ambition. Let the presidency rotate to the south. So we must give kudos to them. But what happened in our own party? We were fighting, ourselves and saying, well, our constitution, they can go to blazes. I don't think that is right. And I'm not, the integrity governors were not in this to say, look, we're trying to prove that we are right or wrong. We are standing on a principle.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has said it will conduct a mock accreditation of registered voters in 436 polling units nationwide on February 4th. The INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakub said this during a meeting with resident electoral commissioners yesterday in Abuja. He said that 436 bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS machines will be deployed for the exercise. According to him, 12 polling units have been designated in each state of the federation and 4 in the FCT on the equality of the country's 109 senatorial district. Mr. Yakubu urged registered voters in the designated polling units to appear on the scheduled date with their PVCs for the mock exercise. The INEC chairman said doing so will help to reassure the public of the robustness of INEC system and to strengthen its processes ahead of the general election. And to legal matters, the Supreme Court has dismissed an application for post-conviction bill brought by a 7th senator representing Delta North, Peter Nwaboshe, who was jailed for 7 years on money laundering charges. While dismissing his application, a 5-member panel of the Apex Court noted that Mr. Nwaboshe's conduct was a slap on democracy and the rule of law. The leading judge, Justice Emmanuel Agim, wondered why Mr. Nwaboshi, who refused to submit himself to the law, was now seeking the indulgence of the law. He added that despite the fact that Mr. Nwaboshi has an appeal pending before the court, his application could not be granted due to the fact that he has continued to devise means to frustrate the subsisting custodial sentence imposed on him by the Court of Appeal. And here in Osun State, the Election Petitions Tribunal hearing sitting in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, has annulled the result of the July 16th Osun State governorship poll and obtained the victory of Governor Ademola Adeleke. While delivering a 2-1 majority decision yesterday, the tribunal chairman, Justice Tetse Kume, declared that the Independent National Electoral Commission did not comply substantially with the Constitution and the provisions of the Electoral Act. He subsequently deducted the overvoting observed from the votes scored by the candidate and declared that Mr. Adigboyega Oyetola won the election, having polled 314,931, while Governor Adeleke's score came down to 290,266. Emmanuel Ojuadugele has the rest of the story.
About 6 months after the All Progressives Congress APC and its candidate in the July 16, 2022 governorship election, Adigboyega Oyetola, challenged the result of that election, the Election Petition Tribunal today delivered its judgment. The petitioners challenged the declaration on 3 grounds, namely the alleged forgery of certificates and non-qualification of the second respondent, Governor Ademola Adeleke, alleged overvoting in 749 polling units, as well as non-compliance with the Electoral Act by the first respondent, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). While delivering the majority judgment of the panel, its chair, Justice Tetse Kume, resolved the first ground of the petition in favor of the second respondent, ruling that by providing other qualifying documents, he is exonerated from forgery or non-qualification. However, the tribunal, in its ruling on the second and third grounds, held that the petitioners were able to prove their allegations of infractions in the polling units. Ruling further, Justice Kume said the tribunal, having found proof of overvoting, held that the election was conducted in non-compliance with the Electoral Act. Citing relevant authorities, he dismissed the defense of the respondent as erroneous and held that actions of INEC amount to tampering with official records by producing different results. Consequently, the tribunal ruled that the second respondent, Governor Adeleke, did not score the lawful amount of vote required to emerge governor. It then held that the announcement of the incumbent governor as winner is declared null and void. After deducting the invalid vote from the affected polling units, Justice Kume ruled that Mr. Oyetola scored a total of 314,931 votes, while Governor Adeleke secured 290,666 votes. Speaking outside the court, counsel to the petitioner, Sakala Yonu, said his team was satisfied with the ruling and described it as a true reflection of justice and fairness.
Before you ask your question, I will repeat in summary what I said inside. All praises to Almighty Allah for seeing us through. He is the one that brings success or otherwise. We thank him for the journey so far. And I also want to mention that our leaders on our team who are not here today, Prince Elo Fagbemi SAS and Chief Akin Olujimi SAS, we also thank them for the able leadership that they have given to the APC Oyetola legal team. Thank you. And we thank all our colleagues too, the soldiers, the legal soldiers, the ones that are the outer bar, who did a lot of the sleepless nights of work that they have done. We recognize them and we thank all of them as well.
On the other hand, counsel to the third respondent, People's Democratic Party (PDP), Nathaniel Oke, rejected the majority judgment of the tribunal, adding that his party aligned perfectly with the position of the minority judgment.
The minority judgment it may not really be the judgment of the court, but we are in total agreement with the position of the minority judgment as delivered. But you will recall that it's only 2 people that deliver judgment in respect of this matter. The reality on ground is that we are dissatisfied, and the necessary legal steps for the purpose of challenging that judgment, we will embark upon it.
Counsel to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Paul Ananaba, also expressed dissatisfaction with the judgment and said the body would study it before taking its next line of action.
The tribunal has the majority. Well, one of the judges of the tribunal, the chairman, delivered what appears to be a majority judgment. The second member of the panel delivered a dissenting judgment. The third member thanked everybody, but did not read any judgment. These are issues we will have to get back to the commission, and then we'll take appropriate decision. But anybody who listened to the judgment, even before the CTC is out, will see the industry and the position of the law on beavers, which is the primary thing, that the minority position that beavers is the primary source of what transpired on the day of election, as stated by the minority judgment, is the correct position of the law as far as we are concerned. And there is no way a report issued after will be the primary source of information of what transpired on the day of election, and based on which the results were declared and the election was concluded. So Nigerians, people from Osun, should be calm. There are constitutional provisions on what should be done. I have a belief that the Court of Appeal has a duty here.
As part of its ruling, the tribunal also ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to withdraw the certificate of return issued to Governor Adeleke and return former Governor Oyetola as winner of the election, having won the lawful amount of majority votes. However, after the majority judgment, a minority judgment read by a member of the panel, Rabiu Bashir, argued that the petitioners failed woefully in proving the allegations of overvoting. It held that the bimodal voters accreditation system (BVAS) remains the primary source of data for the election. According to the minority judgment, the second and third grounds of the petition were resolved in favor of the respondent. Emmanuel Ujadigele, Western Spring Television News.
Meanwhile, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola has hailed the judgment of the Governorship Tribunal, which annulled the result of the July 16th Osun governorship poll and obtained the victory of Governor Ademola Adeleke. While addressing journalists, Mr. Oyetola said INEC is the greatest beneficiary as it will help the Commission to put its house in order. He also thanked the people of Osun State and loyalists of the All Progressive Congress (APC). While delivering a 2-1 majority decision, Tribunal Chairman Justice Tetse Kume declared that the Independent National Electoral Commission did not comply substantially with the Constitution and the provisions of the Electoral Act. We sincerely apologize for the bad audio. We'll bring that story back to you in our subsequent bulletin. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, says the sacking of Governor Ademola Adeleke by the Osun Election Petitions Tribunal is a phase in the struggle to liberate the state. In a statement yesterday, Mr. Atiku said he stands in solidarity with the good people of the state who overwhelmingly voted for the PDP and gave their mandate to Governor Ademola Adeleke. He noted that what happened at the tribunal is a phase in the struggle to liberate Osun State, adding that at the conclusion of the whole process, the people shall be victorious. Mr. Atiku further called on the people of the state to continue to have faith in their governor-elect into office in a popular ballot, stating that the light that has shone on the state shall never go dim. To security matters, a suspect, Lukman Ibrahim, who is alleged to be an accomplice of Nuruddin Qadri, the 28-year-old tailor allegedly shot by the police in Osun State in the early hours of Wednesday, has revealed that he, the deceased, and 2 others presently at large are robbers who have been operating since 2010. While being paraded at the Housing Estate Police Station in Oshogbo, Lukman said he was a bike rider who was later lured by the deceased and 2 others to join their gang, noting that they have carried out operations in Ibadan, Oshogbo, and Ile-Ife areas. He, however, disclosed that he heard 2 gunshots on the night Nuruddin lost his life during a police raid. However, while addressing journalists, Osun State Police Public Relations Officer SP Yemisi Opalola denied that the men of the police that raided the deceased house shot at him, insisted Nuruddin jumped through the window of his room and died in the process. She said the suspect will be charged to court, stating that the police are still hunting for the 2 other suspects who are at large. SP Opalola added that the police are working hard to ensure that Osun State is criminal-free and miscreants perpetrating evil are arrested. Earlier, the family of Nuruddin Quadri accused officers attached to the Osun State Police Anti-Cultism Squad of killing him during a raid on his home around 2 a.m. on Wednesday, and they have demanded a release of his corpse while calling for justice.
Ara àwọn ọlọ́pàá tá a jọ lọ bẹ̀ báyẹn wá ní pé ọ̀dà kí ìyàwó rẹ̀ mú fóònù rẹ̀ àti fóònù ọkọ rẹ̀ tó sá lọ kó mú wá báyẹn bá ṣe kó fóònù méjèèjì nìyẹn. So ìgbà tá a wá fẹ́ mọ̀ sọ̀kalẹ̀ yẹn báyẹn èmi wà pẹ̀lú àwọn ọlọ́pàá yẹn ní orí òkè ni. Ìyàwó rẹ̀ wá àtàkì àwọn ọlọ́pàá tí mi ò torí mi ò mọ́kọ ẹnìyẹn kan wọ́n wá àtàkì kan náà àwọn ọlọ́pàá tá a jọ lọ sí ibẹ̀ ní alẹ́ ẹjọ́ yẹn ní òrùjọ́ yẹn. Ó wá ní pé kó jẹ́ kó ń yọ síìmù náà fóònù. Ọlọ́pàá yẹn wá ní ó yọ sí mi nínú fóònù láti pé dẹ́ẹ̀dì lẹ́nu tí ó kó fóònù bá ṣe sọ̀kalẹ̀ tí ó ṣe mú mi sọ̀kalẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ìgbà tí máa sọ̀kalẹ̀ báyẹn ó kàn bá tó dojú kodò báyìí mò ń wo ẹ̀jẹ̀ lára rẹ̀.
Ṣé wọ́n yìnbọn fún un nígbà tó ń sá yẹn?
Nígbà tó sá yẹn.
Lálẹ́ ọjọ́.
Lóru ọjọ́ yẹn.
Ṣé gbọ́bù? Ẹ má parẹ́ ṣe gbọ́ búlẹ̀tì tó ẹgbẹ́ tẹ̀.
Ní òrùjọ́ yẹn gangan, I swear to mighty God, ní òrùjọ́ yẹn mo gbọ́ bọ̀n. Bábí méjì. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ìsàlẹ̀ ló ti yẹ àbókè.
Kì í ṣe ìsàlẹ̀ kì í sókè náà ti yẹ bọ́ yọ́dà pé sálẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni nígbà tó sá tó jáde sí ìsàlẹ̀ yẹn.
He ran out of, he jumped out of the windows. That window, from that distance, you will know that person, even if he does not die, he is going to, he will never be normal in his life again. So that is what I see. The policeman has never told me that they shot him. They have not told me that they shot him. And I'm not sure that he was shot. Because they wouldn't even know that he is going to run away. As they are opening the door, like they arrested him without, the suspect that you have just interviewed now. They arrested him without doing anything to him. You see him that is hale and hearty. He doesn't have any mark of violence on him. If he is arrested in that way, how will police be going to another place with the intent of shooting or killing that person? We always want to get more information. And what will be our priority, our interest, is to get full information from, because as he has told the police, Lukman has told the police about him. The interest of the police will be to get the facts, even to be able to arrest other ones, because he said there are 4 that are really that were really into the operations. So they will want to see the rest of them in order to be able to apprehend every one of them. That will be the interest of the police. The interest of the police will not be to kill anyone.
The Lagos State Police Command has said no new commissioner of police has been deployed to the state. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Benjamin Hondeyin, disclosed this in a statement amid reports that a new commissioner of police has taken over the command. According to him, the command had been inundated with requests for clarification on the status of the commissioner of police in the state. He stated that the command wishes to state categorically that the commissioner of police in the state is still CP Abiodun Alabi. A residential building in the Jabi area of the Federal Capital Territory FCT was engulfed in flames yesterday evening. As of the time of this report, it remains unclear the cause of the inferno at the building located on Patrick O. Boko Crescent. However, firefighters were observed trying to get the situation under control. According to eyewitnesses, no life was lost in the inferno. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break.
Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around here. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be showing on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has narrated how he survived many battles and how God's kindness helped him to navigate through. The president, who visited the Emir of Daura, Farouk Umar Farouk, after the commissioning of 2 roads in Katsina, said the destiny of man, country, and the world remains in the hands of God. He highlighted the years of battle during the Nigerian Civil War and some personal challenges as testimonies of divine protection and guidance. According to the Nigerian leader, being president and coming from Daura is by the grace and mercy of God. On the foreign scene, the city of Memphis has released shocking video of the violent encounter between Tyree Nichols, a 29-year-old black man, and the 5 police officers charged with murder in his beating to death earlier this month in the United States. The footage from police body worn and dashboard cameras was posted yesterday evening on the city's Vimeo site, a day after the officers were charged with second-degree murder, assault, kidnapping, official misconduct, and oppression. The footage shows the officers, all black, beating the FedEx worker for 3 minutes in an assault that the Nichols family's legal team likened to the infamous 1991 police beating of Los Angeles motorist Rodney King. However, protesters demanding justice for Tyree Nichols took to the streets in Memphis shortly after the release of police footage of his death. Malaysia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has condemned the desecration of the Quran by a far-right activist in the Netherlands, as demonstrators gathered outside the Swedish and Dutch embassies in Kuala Lumpur to protest the recent destruction of the Quran in both countries. Yesterday's statement from the ministry was aimed at a Dutch far-right leader, Edwin Wangsveld, who tore pages from a Quran and stomped on them near Parliament in The Hague on Sunday. The Foreign Ministry summoned Sweden's envoy earlier in the week to express the Malaysian government's disappointment with Sweden for not taking action to stop a Danish far-right political leader, Ramos Paluda, from burning a Quran near the Turkish embassy in Stockholm on Saturday. The ministry said Malaysia is appalled that such an Islamophobic act has been repeated within the last few days, despite global condemnation. The ministry added that Malaysia reiterates that bigotry, racism, and any form of desecration of the Holy Scriptures, regardless of religion, is unacceptable and should be condemned. And to sports stories, Brighton and Hove Albion boss Roberto De Zerbi has said linked away midfielder Moses Caicedo is committed to the club. Zerbi stated this in his pre-game press conference ahead of his side's clash with Liverpool on Sunday. De Zerbi noted that Caicedo is only focused on the club, stating that he hopes the player can stay with the club until the end of the season. Earlier, Brighton rejected a £60 million bid from Arsenal for the midfielder.
No, I think he's a good guy. He's focused only Brighton. I hope he can stay with us until the end of the season, because for my opinion, he's the best solution for him, for us. I can understand the other big team want our young player, McAllister, Moise, Caicedo, Mitoma, Solly March, but the decision are only to the players and the club. I spoke with him Wednesday, and I told him my opinion. I think.
Before we end the news, here is a recap of our top stories. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has slated February the 4th, 2023 for a fresh governorship primary for Abia State. The Lagos State Police Command has said no new commissioner of police has been deployed to the state. And on the foreign scene, the city of Memphis has released shocking video of the violent encounter between Tyree Nichols, a 29-year-old black man, and the 5 police officers charged with murder in his beating to death earlier this month in the United States. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends Spring News at 12. I am Tunde Idowu. Good afternoon.